What is good, everybody? Welcome to the first video edition of Burbs Final Digest, where we assemble our entire music staff and we review an album essentially together. Today, for the very first episode, we're going to be doing Vince Staples' self-titled album, Vince Staples. Staples is a really funny dude. We all know that if we follow him on Twitter. But this album is not funny. This album is straight heat all the way through. It's 10 songs, 22 minutes, very concise. So we all gathered today just to essentially link up and share our thoughts on one of the best projects of the year. So I'll be asking a bunch of different questions. The rest of our staff will be answering them. It's really simple. He's back. In less than 100 words, how did you feel about his self-titled album? And yes, you do have to rank it between 1 and 10.
Vince Staples' self-titled album is excellent, and I would put it on the same playing field as Tyler the Creator's Call Me If You Get Lost. Staples is one of the most authentic artists in not just hip-hop, but all of music, and this is the most personal we see him get across a full project. His stories paired alongside Kenny Beats' masterful production leads to one of the best projects of 2021 so far. The arrangement of so many different sounds and anecdotes in only 22 minutes is just a true testament to the talent that Staples has been putting on display for damn near a decade. And I'm not going to give it a number score, Ralph. I don't do that for music. It's all subjective.
Along the project, the beat selection's amazing. Not only did Kenny Beats do his thing, but he also did his thing and made it Vince's thing. He understood the assignment very well. They're an amazing duo that clearly shows throughout the project. The flows are tight and dynamic. The songwriting stopped provoking and engaging. The quotables are quotable. They're very smart and catchy as always with Vince. He is a genius, and it's honestly just great to have him back. For a ranking, I'd say it's too early to give it a 10, but I'm a sucker for albums that are all killer, no filler, and this is exactly that, clocking into the 22 minutes. For now, I'll give it a 9. I would check back in a couple months, see if it's still playing in rotation.
Vince Staples' self-titled album acts as a reflection, as I would best put that, of a lot of introspective thinking, a lot of introspective thought, and really diving into himself more than anything, rather than projections of other albums, I would say, and really him talking from looking at him in his life and how he looks back on it. And even though I would consider this the second Kenny Beats joint project, I don't want to say because it's not completely, but I would say Kenny Beats is the main producer on both FM and the self-titled. Even though they're identical in length, they are vastly different as in pacing wise. I would say Vince Staples' album is more of a right lane album, really a coast reflection, looking into himself, and that really separates himself from the pack. A very different Vince project that I'm used to seeing in something like Summertime '06 or The Big Fish Theory. With that being said, I really do enjoy this self-reflection and stuff like that, but I just do not know how it compares to FM, because I think the FM's interludes, FM's faster paced production, and how it acts as like looping through a radio station in the West Coast does a better job. Still a great project, don't get me wrong, but I just can't go there, so I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 for the first question.
If you had to spend a morning with any artist, how many artists are you choosing before you get to Vince Staples? Morning, afternoon, evening, full day of fuck around time. How many artists come before?
The people that come to my mind first are people like Freddie Gibbs, Tizo Touchdown, Kanye West, Schoolboy Q, Isaiah Rashad, Brent Faiyaz. I do think, though, I thought about it for a bit, and I think that Vince Staples would take the cake here as who I'd want to kick it with the most for a day. I mean, he's obviously hilarious, and I think it'd be really fun to watch basketball with him and stuff. He's a big Clippers fan, so.
This was a tricky one because I do think that Vince Staples is like the funniest rapper out right now, just in terms of pure delivery and speed. Like, he's so funny, and his interviews are just like are gems. They're like on par with his music. He's one of the most interesting artists to listen to speak, I believe, and there's so many good interviews with him. And I would love to hang out with him, love to play 2K with him. I bet you he would absolutely wash me. But so I sat down, I made a list, and I could only think of one other artist out right now that I really want to spend a full day with, and that's Action Bronson. I think me and him, we could boogie board, take some dabs, cook. I want to try those heavy bags that he throws, you know. But the list isn't very long. I would love to hang out with Vince Staples. I would hope that he would like me.
Law of Averages was one of the best singles of the year, but does it remain the best song on this album? Does another track stand out in particular, or are you still rocking with Law of Averages?
As I do really enjoy the track Law of Averages, I don't really think that it compares to Are You With That is the opening track. I think the wavy production, drizzled and reverb, really it opens it for Vince's catalog and really gives him all the power to make anything. And when I wrote, I compared it to Gandalf's staff, how he gets all that power and is able to do whatever he wants with it, and really sets the tone for the album. And I really think that opener is could be one of the best parts parts of the album.
Law of Averages was a great song. However, I just found it to be my 5th favorite, somewhere in the middle of the project. My preferred songs like Taking Trips, Little Fade, and The Shining more. Especially Taking Trips. That shit is...
Law of Averages is a great track, and I think it was the right single to begin the album's rollout. However, the song that I keep returning to the most is Are You With That, the first song off the album. Something about it just registers really nice with my ear, and my one-word review of it would be nice. Kenny Beats absolutely kills the beat on this one. It really serves as a great introduction to the more personal and anecdotal side that we're going to be getting from Staples over the album's next 20 minutes.
Were you surprised by the lack of Sprite references? We're all familiar with his tweets. He loves a clean, crisp Sprite. Were you surprised that Vince Staples on a self-titled album left out his favorite beverage?
Am I surprised that he has Vince? I guess I'm surprised. I think it's funny, and I think they'd be funny, but I mean, he doesn't need that type of money anymore.
I mean, I wasn't that surprised by the lack of Sprite references. I guess that's been a recurring theme of Vince Staples. You know, the commercials, he's all about getting his money, which I respect. But yeah, I wasn't really, looking for him. I guess 1 or 2 would have been cool, just as, a little callback. But you know what? I thought it was a great album without the Sprite references.
All right, it's rankings time. Where does this album stand amongst the rest of his discography? Between FM Radio, Prima Donna, Big Fish Theory, and Summertime '06, and Hell Can Wait for that matter. Where does Vince Staples stand?
When it comes to rankings, with few listens, I can comfortably say that this is a complete project to me, and it at least ranks higher than Prima Donna, FM, and Big Fish Theory. And to be able to say that within just a weekend of listening is super impressive. I think that as of now, it's definitely in the same tier as Summertime '06. Like I said before, I'm just not ready to crown it as the best album yet. I have a hunch that very soon it will take over, and that Vince Staples by Vince Staples will be Vince Staples' best album.
Rankings time. Yeah, okay. So, here's the thing. I don't feel like I've had enough time with this project to firmly rank it amongst Vince Staples' discography. I'm a really big fan of FM and Big Fish Theory. I think those are my 2 favorite Vince Staples projects, and I can really see Self-Titled making its way up there because I think it's his best made project so far. In terms of fairness to the other projects that I've spent a lot more time with, I'm going to make a tier 1 grouping where I'm going to put Vince Staples up there, FM, Big Fish. And I hope that's okay. And I hope you respect that because that's how I'm going to do it. And music is subjective and how it didn't hit your ear. So if you hated it, you hated it. If you loved it, you loved it. Whatever.
Like I said in the first question, I think that Kenny Beats and Vince Staples, I think they bring the best out of each other. And I think that those are the 2 top projects. I would say this is number 2 over FM, and FM is the better point of it. So I think that Vince Staples is the better rapper with Kenny Beats in compared to other production. Not saying he isn't good another one, but this is his top when he reaches his peak is when he was with Kenny Beats. And I just don't see it eclipsing FM with FM's beauty and amazement. But this is definitely number 2 in my opinion.